Already passed. I would ask that we have a moment of either prayer or silent meditation for the victims of the shooting in Arizona. Thank you. I'm Kathy Sullivan, an attorney in Manchester, Democrat National Committee woman, and former chair of the New Hampshire Democratic Party. I'd like to thank the members of the press who are here and also the Republican members of the legislature who are visiting, as well as all of the current and former Democratic legislators who are here behind me. We are here today to speak about the reckless effort by Speaker Bill O'Brien and House Majority Leader D.J. Betancourt to remove Mike Brunelle, the democratically elected representative of the people in Manchester's Ward 3. This new Republican House majority is engaging in an unprecedented abuse of power never before seen in New Hampshire's history, which is unsupported by any reading, any possible reading of the New Hampshire Constitution. In their reckless partisanship, they are trying to overturn the vote of the citizens of this great state. That is something that smacks of the old Soviet Union, not our New Hampshire. Republican leader D.J. Betancourt says Mike Brunelle should be removed from office because he filed legislation that supports democratic initiatives. What examples did he give? Raising the minimum wage, creating a tax credit for small businesses in New Hampshire, which will create jobs, and protecting the Granite Staters employed at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. These are not democratic initiatives. They are New Hampshire initiatives. Mike Brunelle will not personally benefit from this legislation, but the people he serves, people who are struggling to go and find work, will benefit. But more importantly, there is nothing in the New Hampshire Constitution that permits the House to expel a member simply because they don't agree with his policy initiatives. I challenge you Republican legislators who are here today, please read the Constitution. It is up to the voters of Ward 3 to decide whether they agree with Mr. Brunelle, not Speaker Bill O'Brien. I am sure there are countless state legislators who find the attempts by Representative Baldessaro, another member of Speaker O'Brien's leadership, to delete loyalty to the United States from the legislative oath of office. But it is up to the voters of his district to vote him out in the next election, not the other members of the legislature. That is our democratic representative form of government in our Constitution. All Mike Brunelle has done is advocate for the people of his district and New Hampshire. So why does the new Republican House majority want to remove him? Because he is good at it and because his political ideas differ from theirs. Well, Speaker O'Brien and D.J. Betancourt said they were going to focus on helping people get jobs and on the budget. This does not do either. It is about intimidation. It is about trying to prevent political dissent and overturning the results of the election in Manchester's Ward 3. It sets a dangerous precedent. Speaker O'Brien should act now and stop this political abuse of power and focus on what he said he would do, jobs and the budget. And now I'd like to turn this over to Democratic Leader Terry Norelli.
Thanks, Kathy, and thank you all for being here. I'm here because I truly am deeply concerned that the Republican leadership has decided to engage in the kind of politics that we've seen over the past week. I'm now serving my 15th year in the general court, and I have to admit I haven't ever seen anything like this. As Kathy mentioned, the Speaker's office should be focused right now on setting an agenda that helps balance the budget and create jobs. That's why we were sent here. Instead, they have launched an unwarranted, sneak attempt to remove a member that was duly elected by his constituents. Not only does this not accomplish what the voters sent us here to do, in fact, I think it does the opposite. Representative Brunelle has filed legislation to increase the minimum wage. He has filed legislation to protect thousands of jobs, New Hampshire jobs, at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. And he has filed legislation that gives small businesses tax credits for job creation. These initiatives are not about partisan politics. They are, however, good policies to advocate, policies about which we should be having conversations in these economically challenging times, policies that would help the people of our state. They are not policies that would financially benefit Representative Brunelle. The Speaker's action towards Representative Brunelle discourages all representatives, regardless of party, from bringing forth their best ideas, ideas that will in fact help us to further move forward through this tough time. Targeting people because of their party affiliation and without any other viable reason is bad governance. We all should be appalled, and this should stop. House Democrats take ethics very seriously, but to say that what's happening here has anything to do with ethics would be a serious mischaracterization. It is, in fact, an abuse of power that sets a new precedent. If you can't defeat somebody at the ballot box, then use legislative tricks and intimidation to attain your goal. The voters of New Hampshire, of Manchester's 3rd Ward, have spoken. They elected Representative Brunelle, and their votes deserve to be counted. We have an annual salary of $100 a year, the only volunteer legislature in the country. It is impossible for most of us to serve in the legislature and not have a paid job. But it is truly a sad day for our citizen legislature when we force people to decide whether they should earn a living for their families or whether they should honorably serve their communities. I am calling on the Speaker to immediately halt this investigation, to refocus the House away from these fringe issues. I also ask him to work cooperatively with House Democrats to improve the economy, to help create jobs, particularly for those Granite Staters who are still struggling to find work. And I now turn it over to Senator Lou D'Alessandro.
Thank you very much, Representative Pirelli and former Democratic Chair, current Democratic Committee woman Kathy Sullivan. And first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming today. I think it's a very important day. It's most significant in the history of this legislature. When I first began my career in public service 39 years ago, Jim O'Neill of Chesterfield was Speaker of the House. He was an honorable man. We could disagree without being disagreeable. I relish the days when Republicans and Democrats could partake in spirited, productive discourse and then put those differences aside, break bread together, and share some laughs. Those days are now a thing of the past. We've descended to a vitriolic rhetoric in recent years, and we must reverse that trend. The actions taken by the House of Representatives last week, both in allowing concealed weapons to be carried throughout the State House and in attempting to expel a duly elected member, do nothing to foster a cooperative and bipartisan environment. They do not serve the constituents who elected them or our great state. When our motivation comes from a place that's not of goodwill, our actions are often inappropriate and serve no good purpose. In reacting to the Republican attempt to remove Representative Mike Brunelle from office, the union leader said, the hypocrisy of this move is exceeded only by its imbecility. The union leader also referred to this as a juvenile prank and a sleazy, sophomoric trick. They, as do I, call upon Speaker O'Brien to put an end to this immediately least we end up expelling half of our state legislature. We cannot work together as a legislature to solve problems and serve the people of this state if the Republican majority is going to force an elected member from office in a purely partisan attack. We must also recognize that guns have no place in a building where emotions often run high. Political debate should be able to occur freely and openly without intimidation or fear, and most importantly, with civility and respect. The Republican actions have set an unhealthy tone of partisanship over people. That flies in the face of civility and cooperation. This is a distraction between healthy differences of political opinion and vicious partisan attacks. I leave you with this quote. What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness. What we need is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another. Let's dedicate ourselves to what the Greeks wrote so many years ago, to tame the savageness of man and make gentle the life of this world. These were words spoken by Robert F. Kennedy as he announced the death of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I'll leave you with this thought. If civility and bipartisanship were pervasive in this environment, the people of New Hampshire would be well served.